Yo,
I'll do a reality
super
show.
viral.
I'll do a reality show.
Yo.
Who wants to be in my uterus?
Yes. There are 9 winners. Like at the end of 6 months, we'll determine. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Let's get into the video. Good to go? Let's fucking go.
Okay.
It's Cat Timpf back in the building. I'd imagine you. Have you done something with Barstool since you left, or is this the first thing?
No, I mean, I was on like the morning show.
Right.
That was still a thing.
Right.
You were at a cocktail party fairly recently.
Yeah, then I came here and drank.
Yeah. You came back for the good shit. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love. Barstool can be so dramatic more often than not. But like, I loved that your time here was kind of like, and then departure was not. It was just like you came through, did your thing. Some stuff worked, some stuff didn't. I don't know how you feel about it, but like, and then you went on to bigger things, and it was just like cool.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. I mean, I had a great time here. It was crazy because like when I was here, I was doing the man on the street stuff, but it was just me and then Gaz with a camera.
Gaz was with you?
Yeah.
Of course he was.
No,
I can't believe we even need to. I can't.
Fucking Gaz.
You know what's funny is there's been a lot of new hires, and Gaz didn't personally go film a lot of them. Fucking Gaz.
He did with
Unbelievable.
that Juggalo video that goes reviral.
Yeah.
It was just us two, and he was wearing like salmon-colored shorts, and everybody was like looking at like what the. I mean, we got to get out of there. I think.
I swear to God, he's the greatest of all time.
Despite the salmon shorts, if Gaz just dressed normal and looked like himself, Gaz blends in with white trash.
Real good. I'm surprised he's not at the Juggalo Festival as
if
is.
you saw Gaz has the white trash body type
Totally.
down to
wearing like a tank top and like long shorts.
I'm taking it. I pictured him stuck naked.
Like it just.
Yeah. I
don't want to think of that.
He did that one too.
Yeah,
of course he did.
He did.
That was like
you pick out your outfits for that one too.
we made like a 7-minute video. We were there for like 5 days.
That makes perfect sense.
But that was when I was at Fox like 1 day a week, and now it's like in there every single day.
Yeah, I mean,
I got to do such fun stuff. I mean, some of it was great. Some of it that I did was like bad. I did some stuff that was also not good. But that's how
like
this works.
Yeah, that's how this works.
And that's what my book is about too. With comedy, it's if someone makes a bad joke, canceling them is ridiculous because you don't really know if something's going to work until you try it.
Yeah,
it's swinging and missing. And it's like, oh, I fucked up. Okay, if you're trying to make a joke and you're not trying to be an asshole, then you kind of just gotta let it go.
Want. Yeah. No, I mean, like, did you find yourself like pulling back, or did you just let it rip?
I always just have to let it rip.
Yeah, me too.
Because
I can't.
And also it's a lot of the tough stuff I've been through in my life. I write all about a lot of different things in my book where making jokes about it is the only way to really get through it.
That's the other thing too. I think people who've gone through some real shit are like, this is not that big of a deal. You know, It is a big deal like this and that, somebody who died or somebody this happened, like, and if you're lucky enough that you haven't had that happen, you're lucky enough to get upset about something as insignificant as like a stand-up comedian on stage, you know?
Absolutely. And the thing is, maybe one day you are going to go through some real shit and there could be a joke out there that could help you, but you've made people too afraid to make jokes about it.
Right.
I mean,
well, it takes a certain type of person. I mean, I think everybody here, just by nature of being here, are the type of people to laugh at like the most fucked up stuff.
Absolutely.
And but if you're not one of those, people probably think we're crazy. You know what I mean?
Right. I'd already been through some fucked up stuff by the time I started working here.
Yeah.
I mean, I had like a really rough 6 months. I write about this too, where my mom died, then my grandma died, and the guy that I thought I was going to marry
came in some pretty good money.
He broke up with me.
See,
he broke up with me in front of my father at Coney Island, like the beach in New York.
Wait, hang on. Okay. Mom has just died. Grandma just died.
Yeah.
You're at Coney Island with your boyfriend and your dad.
Yeah, so my dad's there. My boyfriend comes later, and he broke up with me. And it was over some stuff that had happened before. So this was a first-degree breakup. Like, he wasn't like some shit went down at the beach, and he was like, I'm done.
Right.
He knew he was done, and he came there. And then my dad went to go get another round of margaritas. He broke up with me. My dad came back, and I'm like,
was he still there?
Wait
a
second.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Wait, this was a week after your mom died?
No, it was the same 6 months. About 6 months.
Okay.
But grandma died in between.
Those must have been a tough 5 months for him.
He was just waiting.
He knew he was out. He was like, I gotta give it 6.
That's the thing is and then he comes back. My dad comes back with drinks, and he's like, "What happened?" And I was like, "He doesn't want to be." And he
stayed for that.
He stayed, and he was explaining to my dad. He's like, "Look, she's like just her moods are all over the place. She's not really eating. I think she needs mental health." My dad's like, you know, her mom did just die, like
like a minute ago. Yeah.
His alarm goes off that he had sent an event, like, you can break up with Kat now.
No.
It's been 6 months to the minute.
But he also stayed at the beach with us the rest of the day.
Wait, what?
He sat next to me on the Ferris wheel, and he stayed there the whole rest of the day.
Madness.
Yeah, and I was like, please don't, Ray, like, stop. He took the train back with us.
Get the fuck on
No!
How many hours was this man with you after breaking up?
Like 6 or 7.
No!
Yeah.
And then, but he truly broke up. Like there wasn't like a get back together. Like it was,
we didn't truly break up. I mean, we kept hooking up.
Yeah, right. Okay,
and then there was a true breakup. Where
that was the
speak.
conversation in his head where he's like, if I stick around 6 hours, I could probably get like 3 months of severance pay out of it.
Yeah. But it was. But then my dad obviously hated him. My dad was like, my dad's like, who makes this decision?
Why? I mean. He must have really been at his wit's end or something, because to break up with someone in front of their father is borderline like suicidal. You don't know how someone's dad's gonna fucking
audible
react.
from a breakup to a proposal.
Yeah, for
I'd
real.
be like, fuck this.
If I was like, all right, today I'm doing it, and then you were like, hey, I decided to bring my dad along, I'd be like, get down on one knee.
Yeah.
I'll ask for his permission.
And not just anyone's dad, but this man you just watched him watch his wife
mother
die.
and like, yeah,
We went through
crazy.
some serious shit together, and he's like, I was obviously really upset. But then 3 days later, I got hired at Fox, and
I mean that.
My life changed.
Big time.
Yeah.
I mean, I like how you do Fox too. Like, I mean, everybody has their opinions politically or whatever, and there's obviously the extremes, but I feel like you and Gutfeld and that show, like, kind of does it in a way where we know where you lie, but it's not belaboring the point, and it's not totally over the top and shit like that.
No, I mean, I'm independent, right? I'm not really right wing. I'm very like socially liberal. I'm a libertarian.
Right.
So I mean, it's exhausting when people are like, "Oh, Fox, like, oh, you work at Fox, so I know exactly."
I'm sure
who
you
are.
Dude, I feel like that if you just like make an appearance or you associate with them. I mean, working there has got to be.
Yeah, and
know.
it's crazy. If I'm at a party and people ask me what I do and like they don't know, I'd just be like, porn. It's way less controversial than saying I work at Fox. I'm like, I'm in pornography. And they're like,
fuck on camera for money.
Yeah, I fuck on camera for money.
Oh, great.
Like,
If you said
great.
Fox News, like, burn your
By the way,
steak.
to be clear, if you do porn, that's great for you too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's just,
yeah.
it's everybody's an individual.
Right.
And there's a lot of people at Fox that work there that aren't, everybody's different.
Right.
So.
I do that with Barstool. I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say
I'm
Barstool and
like-
Fox are similar. I guess Barstool, Fox, and I guess the major news outlets and Barstool are similar in the sense of like if you apparently everybody is the same under this huge umbrella.
Right.
There's got to be like thousands of people who work at Fox and
Yeah.
CNN, and now at Barstool we're up to like 10 million here.
Not that not that I'm worried about people getting upset about it. It's just like I'm like I work in media, and then it actually
Media.
has
If there's a
almost,
follow up.
it has almost become. Like I went to school in
Oh,
Boston.
if you're Harvard?
Well, not outside Boston.
Yeah.
Like I work for a sports company, like a media company. And they're like, what kind? I'm like, it's like sports media podcast. Like, what is it? Barstool. And it's not for a reason. I'm not like concerned that they'll have some opinion of it. It's
but
just
it
like,
can
I don't know. I
be-
feel weird saying
It
it.
can go either way too. It's like sometimes even if you're gonna hate it, if you're gonna love it, sometimes I'm just like I don't want to deal with either of that. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
wanna
there
talk all
actually
day
is
long.
no positive to telling someone what you do. That like,
right. Either
like-
they're gonna bother you about it,
or they're gonna be interested in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
or even
right.
worse.
Like,
Right.
oh no!
Now I
There's
gotta answer
nothing worse
questions
than, like,
about like what's this person like behind the scenes.
being nice to someone
Yeah.
who likes you, and you're like, oh no,
Puke.
this isn't what I want.
Yeah.
Get me someone who I hate.
In my image, in my head, I'm talking to someone a lot cooler than you when I'm talking.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. People are always like, so like, what's Tucker Carlson like? I'm like, you understand? He's not just walking around the building.
Right.
Like,
We don't hang out all the time.
I don't
It's like-
really interact with him very
Right.
much at all.
Right.
Yeah.
When you started getting down with Gutfeld, was he like already like I feel like he's always had a successful thing, but in recent like last year, 2 years, whatever, it just like exploded. Is that accurate or no? Is it because at this point I feel like I heard it was like the number one
Yeah.
late night show like in the world or based on certain metrics or whatever.
Yeah, no, so definitely. But when I first met him, I did Red Eye because he did that show.
Right,
Red Eye that
right,
aired
right.
At 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And my life was like a disaster the first time I did Red Eye. I mean, like I lived in East Harlem. I had like no hot water and I took a cold shower. I had a bad mouse problem. It was really bad. I went there.
You would come home and you'd be loud to scare him.
Oh my!
bang, bang, bang,
No, I
bang.
was on crutches for a while.
Oh,
in Harlem.
Jesus Christ.
And like
Was it a
they
walk
knew
up?
it. Yeah. Well, no, there was elevators, but like they barely worked. Like
Yeah.
there was humans would like shit in our stairwell. Like it was a disaster. It was really bad. Like, and I was going around crutches, and like I used to be going up on the subway. I don't have like taxi money.
Yeah.
And there would be this guy that would wait for me to get off work, and he'd sit there and he'd level his face with my ass as I was going up the stairs on the crutches and be like, go as slow as you want. And I'm just like crying. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I here? But I did Red Eye. We hit it off. And then he was starting the new show, Gutfeld, like once a week. And so I had some auditions for that. I was super nervous. But then like 2021, I think it was. Yeah, we started
you were there from
daily.
Like, the jump.
Yeah, so I was there from the jump.
That is sick. I feel like Red Eye is a good barometer. Like if you've made an appearance on Red Eye, I'm probably gonna like you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like there's been, I don't know if that, I got to see the list of everybody, but a lot of times when I've seen people who are like who go through there, it's like yeah, that makes sense. You know, people who don't give a fuck one way or the other, they just want to make like funny jokes, want to talk a little bit. It's got a good list, I think, but goddamn, as it fucking blew up.
Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy, and again, I think it's super fun because it's like we have different people. We've had Marianne Williamson on the show. I mean, we've had, but we've also
she's the she ran for president, right? She's
Marianne Williamson. Yeah. We've had her on the show, but we've also had Roseanne on the show.
Right.
We've also had, so it's not like you can know everything.
How was Roseanne? She cool?
She was like, you get like everything that came out of her mouth was funny.
Yeah.
You know, like again, like I didn't hang out with her after, but like everything that came out of her mouth was funny.
For someone who is such like an icon in the field, I couldn't tell. I've never seen the show. I've never seen her do stand-up. I've never seen anything about Roseanne. Which is
the show was fucking
I guess it's just,
monster.
I'm probably like 3 years too late. Like,
I was gonna say you might be a little too young for it, but the I like whenever people talk about like the biggest shows of all time and most influential shows and stuff, I don't think it's really ever mentioned, and it like was for sure one of those.
Well, it's still like isn't the sequel was still on, right?
Yeah, the Connors was like the reboot, but then she was not a part of it.
Yeah, they killed her off. I write about that in my book too. It's just so crazy how like what one tweet or one thing. And again, she was tweeting a lot of stuff, but her whole life changed. And a lot of people, it's just one thing that you can say, even if it's not like someone like she's tweeted a few things. You can say one thing, and the way social media is. People see the one thing and they're like, now I know everything there is to need to know. I need to know about this person. And that's never true.
Not even sometimes that. Like sometimes they don't even know the thing.
No, they don't even know the thing.
There are definitely people who will go after, cancel, whatever you want to call it, and not know why. They're just like, well, my mob and my crew of friends are doing it, like so am I too. And then you find out like, oh, wait a minute. That's what we're doing? That wasn't even that bad or whatever, The
Kelly Keegs, and I've been working on getting off the grid very slowly for a few months now, and that I think one of the main inspirations for it was that Keegs tweet that you quote tweeted, whereas like some TikTok she had about fucking some shit I don't care about that people had strong opinions about that I don't care about, and then she like tweeted the metrics of it, and it was like a TikTok that was going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like...
I know what it was. It was just recently, how they're changing the lyrics to Little Mermaid.
Okay. No, you guys. No. I'm not having it. I'm not doing it. I refuse to accept a change in any lyrics in any of the Little Mermaid. I won't accept it.
Okay.
And because kiss the girl is like implying like just kiss her without consent.
Right.
And so they needed to fix that, I guess.
I didn't hear that in the song.
So Kelly, who works here, was like, fuck that. Like, I love Little Mermaid. I grew up on it. It's legendary. The song's iconic. You don't need to change anything. And the TikTok generation was going after her. But the metrics showed her video was like, I don't know, 2 minutes long, let's say, where she was talking about. And the drop off was like after like 3 seconds. Like nobody was even watching, listening to what she said, and they were like, "Fuck you, you boomer!" Blah 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 blah. Like dude, you don't even know.
Catching boomers straight.
Yeah, I think she was. But somebody said they get real. Yo, if you're like 28 and older, and you're arguing with like a TikTok crowd, they'll be like, "Yo, plan your funeral today."
But they're also
fucking
right. Like, why are you arguing with a 20-year-old? Shut the fuck up and go raise a family.
You're right.
That's happened to me so many times where somebody will take a little clip of something I said and post it saying that I said something else.
Yeah.
Like this was a couple years ago. I was just like out to brunch with my husband, and everyone on social media was calling me like a pedophile, and I was like, what? Like what happened?
Isn't that the best? You open it up
what
like,
happened?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there had been, I was talking about, that was like some like Matt Gaetz stuff was going on, but it turned into a larger conversation about sex work. where that was what we were talking about. And I'm like, decriminalize sex work. I'm very pro-ho, and like I'm a libertarian, whatever. Someone took a little bit and was like, oh, Timpf says you're a Puritan if you don't think it's okay to sleep with underage girls. And I'm like, we weren't even talking about underage anyone in the entire segment.
No, it's crazy.
And I'm like, can you rewatch this? And people are like, oh, sorry, but they've already gotten pissed.
But you know what? I've also found, I mean, to some extent, I think you got to have a little bit of thick skin and just let some people, like, let the baby cry. I think that the person's reaction also dictates a lot of how much fanfare there's going to be, because there's been a few things recently where in years gone by I would have quote tweeted with evidence of the opposite and what about this and what about that, and I just didn't, and then it just like just fizzles out, you know what I mean? So it's like they need like the pushback, and then they're like, we got them almost, like let's keep going, and then it keeps building, and then you get more people in, and then they dig up more dirt, and it's like if you just said shut up the first time. But I also I go back and forth, because then there are times where I'm like, I don't care about that, I want to yell back, because like fuck these people.
I know it's never worth it, but sometimes
it's never worth it, but sometimes I gotta.
You can't help it.
Yeah.
Because it's
getting increasingly less worth it though. Like I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, I'm just tired. I think I just hate the internet in general now. I think it's just to the point where it's ruined every single thing I like. Whatever it is, I'm like, it's not worth it anymore. Whereas I used to be like, it was worth it. I liked it. I liked dunking on that person or proving them wrong. Now I can't anymore.
Yeah, I can't either.
And there is a lot of the dunking too. The dunking that I used to do back in my dunk contest days, like I would be dunking on people who were just taking like what I said correctly. like they didn't know who I was,
right.
And I was being sarcastic, but they were just reading it at face value. Like,
sure.
What are you, a fucking idiot? Yeah. You read words and took them at their literal meanings.
But who are these people though? Who are these people?
Well, that's the other thing. Like, who am I even arguing with?
I've seen stuff where I've been like, I don't like that, and I'm not like, okay, I'm gonna log on, I'm gonna get this account, and I'm gonna tell them to go fuck themselves.
No, that is the inherent difference. They're like, I mean, as everyone's got on the internet, you realize that there's just like everything's on a spectrum, right? Of all walks of life, everybody can be all sorts of you can't put anybody in a box. I think you can definitively say, are you a person who sees something and like feels the need to create a username and comment on why you don't like it and try to, change it, or you just go, all right, I don't know, I don't like that. To me, that's like, there's black or white. You either do that or you don't. No one's ever like, well, I used to, and then I don't. You know what I mean? You're either you go crazy about that stuff, or you don't care. I mean, I obviously think not caring is the way to be, but I don't know. I guess those people like living their life that way. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the internet raised a good point that the argument for the internet when it first started was it gave everyone a voice. And I think we've reached the point
we have definitively stated
we didn't need that.
No,
everyone shouldn't have a voice.
No.
But
how many people do you think deserve voices?
Oof.
I mean, I think
10, 12 in
so.
the whole world.
I think everyone deserves a voice.
Oh, come on.
Get her out of here.
But
Get her out.
What about that dude checking out your butt in the crutches?
He doesn't deserve a voice.
What's his take?
We should literally take that man's voice away. Like, rip out.
I would be shocked if he was still alive. I would be shocked. Because he looked like he was right on the line at the time, and this was a long time ago. But I think the problem is not enough people are actually talking. It's people just lobbing grenades at each other.
Right.
And I think that actually, if we all were more honest and more open, then we could actually understand each other. But there's a lot of listening that's involved in that,
bro,
too.
that ain't happening. I mean, like you're asking way too much of people, and you really are. It's crazy, but you really are, because it's just we're not designed to like talk to this many people at once and give all this feedback and receive feedback. It's just like ordinarily you should just be talking with like your couple family members and a couple friends, and instead you're arguing with like hundreds of people simultaneously on the internet.
Well, there's a difference in terms of like why you're talking too. I mean, there's people who are talking so like, hey, I think this is an important thing to say, or even like, hey, my feelings are hurt. It goes both ways. You can be an asshole if you're saying something as an asshole, like fuck you, go kill yourself, or whatever, you're a whore, or whatever stuff people say to me. Or the other side can be an asshole too. If you're someone who's like, you can't say that, you should be fired.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like, say,
well, I mean, everyone's
you're an
a walking
asshole then
contradiction.
too.
I mean, everybody. It's just you just care about whether your side is winning or losing, because it's like you complain, people say like, oh, cancel culture is terrible, but the minute that they can cancel someone that they don't like, they're trying to get them, get rid of them too. It's like if you everyone's a fucking asshole.
I just think it's too important, because again, like all the tough stuff I've been through. I've needed to laugh at it. I need to talk openly about it.
Yeah.
Something that's in this book that people are going to find out about when it comes out tomorrow. I had a shit bag for 5 weeks. I had an emergency ostomy surgery.
I saw an ostomy bag and I was like, I feel like I know what that is.
No,
but maybe
I never
not.
talked about it. And like I almost died, and then as I was
Holy
getting
shit.
wheeled into surgery,
What
I'm
happened?
fine now. I was just we don't know. I was one of like the 0.001%
Yeah, where
where
it
like I
just
had a perforated
happens.
bowel. It was only 5 weeks. I say that
Oh.
like it wasn't like the most traumatic.
I was gonna say
experience of my
5
life.
weeks of that sounds like
It
a
was so
fucking
bad.
I
hell.
was only leaking.
But it's so gross. But as I was getting wheeled into surgery, I was like, how am I going to talk to people about this? And not like, oh, I hope I don't die on the table. Because people get weird when you say something like, when I say that to people, you guys are like laughing, and that's cool, because it is kind of funny.
Yeah,
Rather than
there's
people like,
humor in it.
like, it's like, okay, I already feel weird that this is going on. And then when
Yeah.
I got it reversed, there was some like complications, a lot of blood. I won't get too graphic, but guess what day that was?
9/11.
January 6th. Look, the January 6th. And like,
It's a pretty good alibi.
I was all alone too because like COVID.
Everyone at Fox was there.
Yeah, I'm like, nope, actually, I was in the, and then Keith is over there with me. Keith was with me because I got like 2 hours of visitors a day and like
Oh,
2 visitors because
man.
of COVID. So I'm just like
Yeah.
sitting there. I'm like Dilaudid in my arm and I'm like
Bro,
watching this stuff and
Dilaudid,
I'm
good
like,
stuff.
what is going on?
Dilaudid might be worth having a bag of shit for 5
It was
weeks.
the IV. That's the 2 ways I got through it was IV Dilaudid and laughter.
Yeah.
Because even like I never talked about it in this book. I'm like, I'm gonna write a whole chapter about it. It's gross, but like every time I see people talk about January 6th, that's the only thing I think about.
Yeah, for real. You have your own insurrection, your own nightmare.
Whenever I
on
see
there.
Adam Kissinger cry, I'm like, I bet I
worse
get
than
it.
me.
January 6th, bad. I get it, but mine was worse. I guarantee it.
It was
I
the darkest
guarantee-
day in our nation's history. You goddamn right it was.
Yeah, and also my history.
Dude, I just randomly opened this up though. This talking about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. So
Yeah.
this was like, you did this. This is when did you stop writing this?
So I stopped. So it took me about 4 months to write it, and I started.
Wow,
it
that's pretty
when
quick, I think,
Putin
right?
Invaded Ukraine is when I started. So it was pretty recent, and then that.
And
whole-
you wrote it all?
I wrote every single word.
Wow.
Every word?
single
look,
word.
there it is, shitbag. Yeah.
Shitbag, yeah, that's chapter 5.
Yep.
But don't eat if you want to read it. And if you think it's gross, imagine living it. But yeah, the Will Smith thing to me was more like about the whole, we can't be surprised about that when people are running around saying words are violence all the time. Because if words are violence, then violence is an appropriate response to violence.
Yeah.
And that's not a progressive thing. Like, that's how cavemen behave. That's how people behave, like, in the Old West, where they're like, oh, you said something bad about my mama, now I'm going to shoot you in the face. We're going to duel to the yard. I'm like, that's not progressive. That's
Right.
like
No,
Neanderthal behavior.
That's very true.
I used to have a roommate in college who was much smarter than me, and whenever we get in arguments, I'd just fight him, and
So you punch him in the face.
he'd be like, you always turn to violence. I'm like, yeah, I'm stronger than you.
Yeah,
You're smarter
this
than me.
wins.
We're using my tools now.
Yeah. Who's smart now?
But at least you're honest. At least you're honest about that. You know. I mean, at least you're honest about that. I mean, it's not a compassionate view. It's like you're just telling people to shut up. You know. So just say that. If you like, it's okay to have feelings. I'm an emotional person, but it's not okay to have, the expectation that the entire world is going to revolve around your feelings.
Right.
Then you're like a selfish asshole. And that's who all of these people are, which again, a lot of people use the word snowflake. It's like, if you're like writing me a 6-paragraph email because my skirt was too short on the show, like,
Christ.
Bernice, you might also be a snowflake.
I can't even fathom how much time you have to have in the day to do that. I mean, if you have any sort of responsibilities at all, where are you taking up the time to write a fucking 5-page letter to some random girl about her dress?
Well, I
you
think
know?
she was probably retired.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. A lot of
Yeah, her name's Bernice.
Bernice.
yeah, that's
it's
true.
like-
Or their friend like Agatha. And
Yeah,
fucking
there's like a
Mauve.
lot of like people think people on Twitter are
There
like
should be an
grandmas and
age.
Facebook comments.
Yeah.
Fucking mean. They're
you know-
the meanest. Some of your grandmas are the meanest people.
Bitches.
Oh,
Like
my
evil.
grandma.
horrible people.
Dead.
Evil. Your grandma's probably
dead,
a whore.
dead of being mean.
Yeah, at least she's still finding a way.
Instead of a
She
cold
made
black
fun
heart.
of Jada Pinkett Smith, and she's out now.
Have you seen Jermaine Dupri and Uncle Luke, 2 guys in the rap game, are making a documentary about Freaknik, which is I think the entire decade of the 90s, you would go to spring break in Atlanta.
Okay.
And it was just like, it was like Black Spring Break, really. But it was fucking wild. It was like Girls Gone Wild type shit. And I guess they have a bunch of footage from it. I don't know how it works with like finding it and clearing it and publishing it, but there's a lot of like older women on like Facebook and shit putting out videos being like, so your girl was at Freaknik in 1997 and like, just know that, you know, I used to be a little bit different than I am now, and like all this shit, because it's like, what if all of a sudden you see grandma out on fucking twerking on the street in Atlanta, you know?
I'd be happy for her. I'd be like, she looks like she's having a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very rarely is it ever that serious.
For real. I mean, God, just let people be Freakniks. Jeez. I think there should be an age minimum and age limit for the internet. I think that would help a lot. Same thing with driving.
Age.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you can, I guess, 16. I think it's kind of crazy that when 16-year-olds drive. Sometimes I'm like, that's wild.
See, I'm not sure I believe in driver's licenses.
Period? You think everyone should be able to
Proceed.
Dude, because
I wholeheartedly disagree. I want to hear you out.
I know this is a take, but like, okay, so I have a driver's license.
Good for you.
But I don't know
You
that I
shouldn't.
should.
Oh, okay. All right,
Like,
that direction, I'm with you.
I
yeah.
passed this test
Totally.
back when I was like 16.
So you're saying it should be harder?
No, I'm saying it's like I don't think a driver's license proves either way. I think
Okay.
it's like,
Yeah.
If you can drive, then drive.
That is, yes. But like, remember during COVID when they just gave everyone in Georgia, everyone got passed,
Yeah.
and then they tried to take it back?
Yeah, they can.
That was great. They're like, no, wait, never mind. This is a bad idea. Everyone bring back your licenses. You're like, yeah, I'm sure the 16-year-old kids are going to be doing that. But
Yeah.
I think, I mean, the fact that the vast majority of people, almost like, we're talking like 100% really, right? When you turn 16, are allowed to drive, you know, machines that are thousands of pounds just at very high speeds. Crazy.
I was like, I'm an adult. This is crazy. I have to wait this long. And then now that I see it,
You're
like,
a fucking child.
yeah, it is. And also, everyone does get too easy. Because I think people, the people who do the tests don't really care. Like mine, I never left a Chili's parking lot.
What happens in your life that you become a driver's instructor?
Lord.
Like,
Couple DUIs.
That's
Yeah.
exactly.
You know what? A driving test, whatever it's called, should be a test. What
I
if it
had
was
to
like,
get a tutor. Like I was sucked.
I had
Really?
to do,
That bad?
in New York, you have to do a
Totally.
5-hour program. It's called, you have to do your 5-hour. Did you have that?
I had to go to school. Like,
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how long
So
I
I
went
think
for.
we went like, I think you could either go like
you wait till you're
5
18, you just
1-hour
get it.
sessions or 1 5-hour session or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but it was.
That sucked. It was so stupid. But what if they were like, all right, we're going to take you out on the highway. You got to be going like 80 miles an hour. We're going to like throw some shit at you. You got to prove you can drive, because driving around the parking lot of Chili's is not going to prove a goddamn thing.
I got in like a blowout fight with an ex-girlfriend once because she was driving and we were looking for a parking spot, and we kept driving by parking spots, and there was like street parking, and I was like, "That's a spot," and I was being a dick.
Well, why weren't
obviously.
you driving?
Not drunk.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. Why were you driving?
That's fine.
Why do you think?
I haven't driven in
I was drunk.
I haven't driven in like 9 years. So I have this cat that I've had forever. He's like 13 years old, and he's got like all these health issues, so he can't fly because his heart will blow up, and I like won't let him die.
Wait.
Oh.
Yeah, the animal.
I did the same thing. I was like,
Yeah.
cats can't fly.
Yeah. On an airplane.
Like, you are burying the lead.
Cat has wings? That was maybe the dumbest thing we've ever done.
So
But you said it in such a way. I
You
don't
guys
know
both
why.
looked at me in the face. I was like, you know, airplanes. Okay, like you've been on them before. But I my husband, it's like we have to spend Christmas at my dad's house, but also we can't fly because the cat has health issues and
God.
he needs special care. So we have to drive
How
to
far?
Detroit
Oh my
from New
God.
York every year. And by the way, I'm not gonna help drive. So I
we're
was
going to my
she was
family's house.
I was like, she was driving. That would never fly with me. That would never. That's why we like all.
Are
this-
you like, you physically can't do it? Like
I'm
you're
gonna need
nervous?
to take lessons again or something because it's just been too long. I used
Yeah.
to do it, but it's been like.
But when
9
you
years
used to
now.
do it, were you okay or no?
Well, I mean,
Okay,
like
yeah,
how many
no, that's
accidents?
enough.
How many accidents is too many? What would you say is a lot of accidents?
I would say any like legit accident, not just like fender benders.
See, the thing is, I never really ran into another car. Like
Or you just hit
I-
things,
when I
poles and
Yeah, like okay, so there's a garage.
Buildings.
When I was like
Dogs.
a teenager, my mom would never let me drive the car, and I got into a big fight because I wanted to go to the library and burn CDs. Remember
Hell
that?
yeah.
And
Oh,
I got in this
again.
huge fight, and then as I was pulling back in I misjudged, and I ran into the house, like the garage. Like I totally miscalculated. So yeah, I've like never been good at it.
Also, how many accidents?
So that one.
I actually think it's better. I think bumping into things is better than like fucking hitting other cars. So I think you're.
Yeah, Bills came on the radio once, and I drove up on a curb.
As one does.
But
that
it's
was,
not
that was
my
one of my
fault, I feel
favorite.
fucking having a time in the car.
I was like, let's call it. I was like, how old were you for that? I was gonna say
Early
I was
20s.
14. I mean, I was a little older then. And that was I became aware where I was like, Destiny's Child went borderline back to back. I don't know if it was exactly.
It was like independent woman.
Independent woman to Bills.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, shit.
they'll just say anything. Okay, this is how that was a moment for you. This is how it works. Okay, it doesn't matter. Just say things.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That song was great when you think about it.
Yeah.
The hook is literally, can you pay this bill?
Yeah.
Can you pay that bill?
Yeah,
It's fucking
and
great.
then I hit another thing in a park. I never hit another vehicle.
Have you hit a human?
No.
You're good.
Or an animal. So just inanimate objects. But again, it's like.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be a telephone pole near Cat Timpf, but everywhere.
No,
Otherwise,
but
you're
my
good.
husband drives. When'd
you get married?
I got married in the pandemic. I got married. It'll be 2 years.
Did you?
May 1st.
Were you dating him for a long time or no?
Yeah, we were dating for a couple years. I mean, I was
Prior to the pandemic?
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't even want a boyfriend. Like when we met him, like I just was
That's
very
when
like
it always happens.
I didn't want I was like I'm good. Like I was dating I had my roster basically. I had all the attention I needed.
Yep.
And I met him, and he was not my type because he was like he's like a good like man with a good job from a good family. I'm serious. No, he was like in the military. He's an investment banker. He played.
So Cat's good and bad.
I didn't want to go
That's
out
what we've
with
learned
him.
here.
Well, I didn't want to go out with him. My sister convinced. I met him on Raya. My sister convinced me.
Fuck Raya.
My sister convinced me she liked his profile. He was wearing a fucking lacrosse sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Sure.
Lacrosse is not a sport. It's not. It's not a sport. It's not. I don't care. It's an arena of people masturbating to how rich their family is. Because think about it. Sport, to me, is like capitalism. Like you can make money if you reach the highest level of a
Sure.
sport. You reach the highest level of lacrosse, you still don't
You're
make
making
money.
like 15K. I know.
You're still in the hole with all the money.
We got a
spent.
guy here who's a professional lacrosse player, and he's also, filming us. So that says everything.
My husband played D1 lacrosse. He played lacrosse at West Point.
Yeah.
And I also just tell him all the time, like, thank you for your service. Like, and again, he's like, it's not a sport. So he good, like, clean cut man, great job, great family, Army veteran. And like, I went out with him once. I was like, I don't really know. I canceled 2 dates on him.
Wow.
Third date,
Persistent too,
my
huh?
sister was like, go out with him again. Like, what
else are you
actually
looking for?
are you doing?
Yeah.
Because I had I just liked losers. Like, I dated a lot of losers. I mean,
What is it about that, you think?
I don't know. I mean, there's this one guy that I just couldn't get rid of. Like, he actually like was squatting in my apartment.
Okay, so if they're not physically like just making themselves heavy, like as a rocket. If it's not that, what do you think it is that makes? And you're going to speak for all women here because that's how
of
this
course.
works. You are a woman. Why do you think that happens?
I think
Is it sex? Is it fun? Is it
sometimes
partying?
it's sex. Like
Is it?
Sometimes toxic sex is
Yeah, it's
like
just
the
like
best
the
sex.
best sex. Yeah.
If you and
Because I
someone
know
like,
there's plenty of guys that are doing that for sure. I know that's the reason why guys are with toxic women. But does it go both ways?
If it does definitely. If like you and somebody like if you and somebody like hate, like, if you're blocking and unblocking each other all the time, then you're having really good sex.
Right.
But also, I think it was just I didn't really. You couldn't really hurt me that bad if you sucked. Like, I'd be like, okay, like, I don't need to take this that seriously. I don't think I was ready. It's like, I don't need to take you that seriously because you're a joke. I can be dating other people.
You're not a real
I don't
human.
really care. Like,
You're a subhuman asshole.
But also, I just always really liked, like, people who were, like, comedians or people who are
so that's what I was
musicians
saying. Like, is
or
there a little more fun to
creative.
it? Like, are those guys sometimes like, maybe they're not as financially secure or whatever, but they do something cool or they're hanging out in the spots you want to hang out in. It's just
And I also really liked like the look. I mean, I dated guys like who were tatted. I dated people who were also more successful, like in music or comedy. But we were too much alike doing the same thing. Like my husband, like. He'll just listen to me talk about myself all day. Like he like
ding, ding, ding.
I like all the attention. He likes the attention being on me, and he sits there and does his little charts and graphs or whatever the investment bankers do. I don't really know. It's like he has a headset and like he has the charts and the models, and there's Q1 and Q3 and Q2 and Q4.
And you're as far as I know, like
you're practically an investment banker as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. I'm always like, babe, how are the models? Like I just like mock him for it.
Yeah.
But it's like
And then he pays for everything. It's
We're
fucking great.
completely no. I mean, I make money, but we're completely opposite. And that
Are
actually
you
works
the
for me.
breadwinner?
We both make money.
Yeah.
We both make
so
money.
you're just balling out.
I mean, yeah, we got no kids. We have my
Yeah.
old cat.
Dude,
with a lot of health
if you
needs.
don't have kids, you don't even really need to have that high paying of a job, and you're a baller.
Yeah.
Like I realized that. Like I remember thinking, because I had kids when I was like 31, I guess, and I wasn't like really making like a ton of. I was doing fine, but I was like, oh my god, if I didn't have kids, we could do like whatever we want. You know,
Yeah.
like within reason. You're not gonna buy mansions and cars and shit. But if you don't have kids and like both of you are making money, it's like go on whatever trips you want. You can buy whatever little things you want. It's just it's almost like being rich.
It's the opposite too. So I'm like, okay, like I think I'm gonna do the baby thing at some point, and like I don't know, like because I haven't tried it yet. My sister's like, that's a horrible reason not to try.
Well, it's not
worse
something you really get to
reasons.
try.
I'm like, no, because I
Have
know
you
either do or do not.
I'm
It's
like,
not fun.
but I've done everything else. I'm like, done everything else, so I'll be a mom. Let's do that.
Well, I don't know. You know, I
People
think
have had kids for worse reasons. People
Totally,
are like, I went
totally.
to spring break and I got fucked up.
totally.
And now I have a baby.
My mom had my brother because she wanted to get rid of her acne. Because when you get pregnant, like it helps your acne. So
Man.
she got knocked
okay,
up
so
for.
I'm fine.
You're good.
That's why they invented, what was the acne pills we were on?
Accutane.
Accutane.
Accutane,
Yep.
Yeah, they were like, you can either get pregnant or
Be suicidal.
have suicidal
And
thoughts for the rest of your life.
guess
You're
what?
like, I'll do the second one.
Guess what? Both ways you're gonna have suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, give it a go. If you don't like it, you can just send it back, right?
No,
That's how that works.
I mean, I feel like, if you don't like it,
You know what you
just
should
deal
do is
with it.
publicly get an abortion. That'll go over well.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That
yeah.
tip on Fox News, post-abortion.
Yeah.
That'll be the lower third.
Live-
Just got an abortion.
Live on Instagram, no. I'm like, I just feel like, okay, well, I'm 34, and, you know, I mean, like, I still
Biological
feel like
clock sucks. I was just
It
talking about it
does.
last week on an episode with a girl who works here. And it's just like, it's the one thing that's still, everything else is so modern and everything's like all good. We let you guys vote and work and all that shit. But yeah, the biological clock still fucks you.
Oh, we already froze embryos.
Yeah,
Like I've never
yeah.
talked. I've never talked about this before, but like
Wait, so embryos means fertilized
like
and everything,
fertilized.
right? So
I wanted to walk into like my 33rd birthday party, being like, I've got kids on.
I was gonna
ice,
say,
and, like,
this just
Yeah.
in. Kat Timpf has children. She froze them. Just
I'm
frozen
not ready
children
for
in
you guys. They're
a
hanging out.
fucking.
Well, because you know, my brother was like, I love how as soon as you made money, the first thing you did was like, you're gonna be. I want to approach this like a man. Like I don't have to worry about it. And
How
like,
many do you freeze?
the many you can get.
Well,
I got like
right,
a lot.
but
I got
like-
9 of them. I have
Oh,
6
hell yeah.
boys and 3 girls.
Oh, and you already know that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And then
How much would you sell one for?
That's a
Oh,
great
I mean,
question.
it depends what they're offering.
You would probably
make a lot of
like
money.
with him and like both your like
Yeah,
your resumes and shit and looks.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's a good looking dude.
He's a
you
very
could
good
probably
Kim Kardashian
get.
calls you up.
Oh, I would, dude.
She's
I would do it
like,
for the
cat-
tea. Like, I would love
Just a
to.
conversation.
I would love to be invited to that Christmas party. You can have one of my kids. Like, absolutely. I mean, I just.
Kanye's going to raise it, though.
Oh man.
Whatever. It's not yours. It's hers now. She bought it.
She bought
Transfer
it.
the
I
deed,
mean,
you know?
But I'm still at the Christmas party though. Like, but I still get
And
all
then
the tea.
okay, so let's say so you do a lot like that in case they don't take or whatever, however you describe
Yeah,
it.
I mean-
but what if let's say you want to say let's say you want to have 3 kids.
Oh,
Let's-
ugh.
okay. What do you want? 1?
I want one. He says
Okay.
you need to.
So
have
let's say
2.
you have
I'm like,
1,
no.
2, whatever. And let's say you get lucky, everything goes good. You have 2 kids, and then what do you do with those other
Or I
7
just get
embryos?
knocked up the sex way. Like we're gonna
Oh
try
right,
the
so
sex
you,
way
yeah, you might
first.
even, and then you have 9 for nothing.
know.
So then, do you
Well-
really can you sell?
Well,
them?
here's the thing.
Is this
I
like
can
human
do whatever I
trafficking, or is it like
want.
then you can
I don't-
someone has it's
You
for
should
adoption?
give
or-
one to someone for Christmas.
Give one to
Imagine.
someone.
Yo,
Okay,
yo,
I'll do a
you'll go
reality
super
show. I'll
viral.
do a reality
Yeah.
show.
Yo.
Who wants to be in my uterus? Yes. Yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
there are 9 winners.
Yeah.
Like at the end of 6 months, we'll determine the 9 baby mamas who get to
Yeah.
take a kid from Cat Timpf. This would be, I mean, but you probably do something like that, right? Where it's like, I don't know, other like a surrogate mom or someone who can't get pregnant, but we can just like insert that. Does that work? I don't know.
Well, they make you do all
But-
this paperwork, like in the case of what happens if you break up, and
Sure.
like they're mine. So like
You're yours.
that's such a bigger power move than marriage.
Yeah.
Right? Like I
own the
can get
fucking
pregnant
kids.
with your kid anytime I want, and you
So-
can't say anything
so
about
then
it.
Technically, it should also. I'm sure it says it in the paperwork once it becomes alive that it's both of yours. But like, no, I own that shit first.
That
Yeah,
was
I
a
don't
big
know.
thing with
This is my kid.
We're happy
Sofia
right now, so
Vergara,
we're not-
when because she got divorced. She's now married to Joe Manganiello.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I remember that.
Like
yeah.
her husband was like, "I want that."
Yeah.
And she was like, "No,"
But-
and he's like, "No, I want the eggs."
50% is right, or no? I don't know how that works. but
I did one round of it, and like I wasn't expecting to get that many, and I don't want
it's
to.
like a surgery, right?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
is
I
it-
actually went to work after my egg retrieval because I'm like psycho. No, but it's like people are like, how many did you get? Because I know a lot of people go IVF, they have fertility struggles and that kind of stuff. So I want to be like
Yeah.
insensitive.
Yeah.
Like, how many did you get? And I'm like 9, because then you feel like an
Right,
asshole.
right.
But that's also why I went through it at a
you're-
younger age.
you're also doing
too.
it though out of like timing, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's not a problem, so it's like you are going to be.
But I had no idea though, because I've been on birth control my
I wonder-
entire life. So
I
I,
really
just
feel
assumed
like-
I'm like scrawny. I mean, I'm a padded bra. I've got no titties. Like this doesn't hurt. This would hurt, right? So I just like assumed I like wasn't. I was like, there's
Yeah,
no
it's
way.
not
And I'm
for
like,
you.
oh wow. Apparently it's good that I've been on birth control because I make babies.
You would have a lot of fucking.
Making
kids.
it rain.
I do think that like there's we're probably seeing it now that like throwing kids on birth control from age like 11 through like 30 whatever when they want to have kids is probably not the
I wonder what
best
I'm
thing
gonna
for your body.
be like when I go off. of
Yeah,
it.
probably crazy.
Like, and also, like, I've been on amphetamine since I was 5 years old for my ADHD and ADD. Like, and I actually have really bad ADD. Like, I couldn't function in a normal classroom setting.
Yeah.
I know that this is shocking to you guys because you know me as being so reserved and not at all impulsive and, like, very well behaved. But I'm going to have to go off of that. And
Yeah.
then, so we'll see how that goes.
We've said that before, that we are like hands down by far the most like experimented on generation.
Yeah.
Everything from medicine to like social media. We're like, we'll see how this works with the human brain. And
Yeah.
I think they're gonna rule the day. I think
so.
I think once we get a little bit older, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, we
I
fucked
guess
that one
though,
up."
like they used to do shit like, like you're sick, like just cut them open and let them bleed for a while.
Yeah.
There was some wacky shit that they did to
a
those,
little bloodletting.
a little bloodletting for the boys.
I gotta sneeze. Time for a little
But I also feel
bloodletting.
I mean, it
like
makes sense. Like something's wrong with your blood. Get that blood out. We'll get the new blood in. You're fine.
I also
I
feel
got
like
a
I
blood
do the
bucket.
elliptical machine 20 minutes a day,
Oh,
3
well, then you're
times a
great.
week,
You're
and I
fine.
do an ab video and a butt video, 10-minute YouTube video every day. So like, I'm the pinnacle of health.
For real. I mean, that's way more than I expected. So you're good,
I
girl.
know. I'm on a
You got
fitness
9
journey.
kids. You're in shape. You're making money, and you got a fucking book. You're a published author.
I
You are
am.
killing it, man.
It is.
Yeah.
It is interesting that you chose us to come on to promote a book. It's like you went on a blind show. I'm sorry, a deaf show to promote music.
From music, yeah.
Well,
We're not
I
gonna
mean,
read this.
I
Are you doing audiobooks?
I am. I narrated. it.
Kevin's actually big on audiobooks.
Yeah, I'll listen to it.
Kevin listens to audiobooks and plays video games.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean,
So
I'm
that's
not
supposed
shocked.
to
I'm
mean,
not
bro.
shocked that you.
It's
No, I already
just
knew
like
that.
you're,
You didn't need to tell me that he plays video
like
games.
an illiterate
for me to know. He wasn't being mean. He was just saying you're illiterate.
Like he's some fucking learned man over here.
I'm
who
actually
reads
reading a
books.
book right now. It's called Finding Your Way in the Dark. I
How
get
many
scared telling people that 'cause
pages?
it's not a self-help book. It's a novel.
How many pages in are you?
It's.
I crossed the 100 threshold yesterday.
It also,
so I'm about done.
It also
When-
is a, it also is
and
a
when will
little
you
weird.
stop?
If you don't strike me as a reader when you're
Yeah.
like, I'm actually reading a book.
Yeah.
Right now. It's like,
I
okay.
knock out like 3 a year.
I read.
Yeah.
Like, that's a flex. That's great. Like,
You have to tell people
3
you
a
read,
year.
you
If
don't
I read 3 books a year, that's gotta have me in the 1%.
It absolutely. I think it does.
Totally.
Yeah.
Bro, you don't even understand how many people just fucking can't read a book. And then even if you can, the vast majority of people do not, I would say.
I do it exclusively like in the warm months though, because I'm like, well, I gotta at least get a tan while I do this. I'm not gonna sit inside and read a
It's
book.
probably a lot like the gym. Like, you're going to sell a fuck ton of these.
Yeah.
And probably only like 5% will read it.
That's the thing.
It's like a gym membership.
My book also, you don't have to read it in order. It's not like Game of Thrones. You're not
Yeah.
gonna
Pick
get
it up
lost.
and open it up,
There's
yeah.
different chapters about different
Shit bag,
things.
boom.
There's shit,
Yeah.
And also, I think I have something important to say. I think it's very relevant. I also share a lot of personal stories about myself, and people do have a voyeuristic interest in my life.
Cat's a wild one.
So-
Cat is a wild one.
I
that's
hope
for sure.
that butt guy's still alive.
But
He's like, I've been wondering about
I
her.
don't think he's doing, he wasn't doing, there's no way he's still alive. I bet you everybody that was roaming those streets.
You talk about it very certainly.
This
You're
is-
like, he's dead, I assure you.
yeah.
I mentioned my husband's a Marine.
No.
I promise you. In the Army, I promise you, he's
Yeah.
dead.
This is great. This is like the back
My bio.
fold or whatever, yeah. She's a co-host of Gutfeld, Fox News contributor, worked on the National Review and Barstool Sports, and was a stand-up comedian long enough for her to be this She was a stand-up comedian long enough for this to be her third time quitting.
Yeah, it's true. But the stand-up comedy stuff is, I started doing that when I was really broke and living like a horrible life in Los Angeles.
And also being the worst waitress you've ever had.
Yeah, I wasn't good at it. That's why I was the worst waitress, because the ADD thing, I'd be like, I'd forget your ranch, I'd forget your whatever, and then instead of just saying, I'm sorry, I'll be right back with that, you know what I would do? I'd be like, are you mad at me? No, I'd be like, are you mad at me? They would look at me.
What though? That's a great way to bully someone back into the tip though, because if you know what I mean, like the people who are, I can't even imagine not tipping because of something silly like that. But if a waitress says to me, like, oh, "Are you mad at me?" You'd be like, "Well, now if I don't tip,
no, that's horrible." I spilled a whole bottle of wine on someone. I was like, instead of getting paper towels, I was like, "Are you mad at me?" like I'm just placing myself firmly there. Like what if they are mad at me? That's gonna ruin the rest of our relationship. Like they're here to get food and drink from me, and I was so bad. Like. I have anybody who's waiting tables, and like if I get bad service, I still tip huge. I'm like, that was
totally
me.
Yeah.
Like I actually like. I was so rough.
Are you one of those people though who are like, you don't know life if you haven't worked in the service industry?
I wouldn't go that far, but I definitely make fun of my husband. I'm like, you never had like a minimum. You never had to work a minimum wage job. He's like, babe, I went to war.
What do you know about service? You've never served anything other than the goddamn
like,
country.
Babe, I went to Afghanistan.
That's
but
hilarious.
we were watching the movie Waiting, and he was like, why are these people working in this restaurant? They're like 20s. I was like, probably for money, like the woman you married did. Like, my first job out of college was Boston Market. Like I had to hustle.
I feel like everyone who does that with like you, like it's service industry or it's
retail
teachers,
and it's like we all like 95% of people did these jobs.
Yeah. Right.
But I think they're talking to a much broader audience with like. That like only 20% of people work those jobs. Like I was a waiter, I was a bartender, I was a bar back. I worked retail.
When I was a child. When I grew up and got a real job.
It's like I did it. Some days it sucked, some days it didn't suck. It was like
there was other days.
Any job.
You fucking.
There's some days here I'm like, God, I wish I was a fucking bartender again.
Yeah, absolutely. Or there was the times that somebody left like a fat tip for you bringing out like a jar of ranch.
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
Like, I'm buying drugs tonight.
So excited. I was so excited to become a waitress because before that I was working at Boston Market and there's no tips. And like people treat bathrooms differently when they know they're not going to be the ones cleaning it. And like I had to clean these bathrooms. I mean, it was, my husband's like, you don't clean a bathroom now. And I'm like, I know. Exactly. Like I used to do it professionally though. So suck it.
Yeah, for real.
But I mean, like it was rough. And then so when I finally
Where do you live? New York?
Right now I live in New York. In
Manhattan?
Yeah, I live in Manhattan, which it's.
You say right now? Does that mean you're leaving?
Yeah, I mean, I can't because of my job.
Right.
It's just so expensive.
And they film.
Yeah, we film here in New York. It's just so expensive, and like I'm not really like going out. I'm not going out clubbing.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like,
Right. Yeah. Well, once you don't do New York anymore, it's really stupid to live here.
Yeah.
But like all my roots are here. You know, like like me, my family, everything's here, and it's like if I could just pick all you motherfuckers up and move to like Virginia, I don't know, where it's just like so goddamn cheap, but. I don't know. Depends on where you are with that. So where would you go if you left New York?
I don't know. Anywhere where, like, I don't know, like Texas maybe, Florida maybe. I mean, I just...
There it is. Fox News for you.
The thing is just that the taxes just kill me, man. It's like I struggle and I struggle and I struggle and I finally make money. They're like, we'll take half of that now and the whole city will still smell like piss.
I get the idea of, like, when you start making money, that tax number becomes huge. But wouldn't it stand to reason that the people who are not doing well would like the taxes still hurt them more just because they don't have any fucking money?
See, I don't believe in taxes either, just like driver's licenses, because it's stealing. And it's not that I don't like. I would give money to help people who need it. I just don't think that the government is the best at spending it.
I agree with that.
Much corruption.
But the problem is there's nobody like you. You know, very few people that would actually willingly give up their money.
I think you should at least be able to pick, like, this goes here or this goes here. There's no transparency at all. It's like the amount that I go in taxes. It's like donating to
charities. Like, that shit's not going to the right people.
You walk around.
That's why I don't donate to charity anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's I do.
I'd rather I'll like at Barstool we've like picked out individuals and like donated money. I'll do that shit all day long. When you're giving it to like a fucking huge, basically like a corporation, that's just like in there.
And that's like another way of getting rich.
Totally.
But the government, I mean, like, remember in the pandemic, de Blasio's wife was running like the homeless mental health thing. I'm like, where did that all go?
De Blasio,
because it seems to still be quite a problem.
for real. What were you guys doing? De Blasio was the best. He was so bad. like Eric Adams is just blah. You know, he's not doing anything
He
good,
wants
and
to
he's
party.
not like
He's like, I'm famous now. I'm on the national stage.
It's like either be really great and make the city amazing, or I don't know, be like De Blasio and give me material for my show.
Yeah,
he was fucking terrible.
It's just so.
That was you know what? That was the one thing that united everybody.
Everybody hated
De Blasio.
Everybody hated Bill de
Hate
Blasio.
is the biggest motivator, like, you know, bring you together of all time. People fucking hated that guy.
That's true, but he didn't know it. He was like, I need to run for office.
Totally oblivious.
And that's.
Oh, what did he run for? Did he run for president?
He
sorta.
he
I mean,
like
yeah.
announced his name like
And who
Mike, and everyone was
hasn't?
like,
Yeah.
no.
Like,
It was that was real quick. That was done real
He did the
quick.
Pompeo campaign.
It's like it's like I'm declaring for the NBA draft this year.
Yeah,
okay. No one's gonna draft you, but okay. All right, good stuff, Kat. Well, so you are now published author, and you know Gutfeld is fucking.
It's a great
ride
book.
that way, babe.
It's a great book. I mean, I'm very proud of it. And
Yeah.
it's a funny book.
I mean, it's legit that
It's-
writing it on your own. So many people do these things, and it's all ghostwritten.
No, yeah, I
or
wrote every single word of
collaborated.
it.
Rob Gronkowski still has my favorite interview of all time about his book. And someone said, "Did you write it?" And he said, "I read it."
Yeah, well, that's actually some people don't even do that.
Yeah, oh yeah, Gronk didn't read it.
No.
I mean, that was a lie, but he at least said, "I read it."
But I mean, just in flipping open here, you know, it's just like it's written. It's almost like our style of writing, where it's conversational and
Yeah.
it's smart, but it's not like hoity-toity.
It's easy to read.
Yeah,
So.
like fuck with 11 U's in it. That kind of book.
No, Ghostwriter didn't do that. I
Your
tried-
editor's not, you know. Yeah, for
exactly.
Sure, for sure. Love it. All right, thank you so
It's
much.
out
for
now?
coming on.
It's out, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This will be out Thursday, so this
Yeah,
will be out.
exactly.
You can't
So
joke
now-
about that. Why everything is funny, nothing is secret, and we're all in this together.
Yes.
Love it.
Great to be back, guys.
Love it. All right, big thanks for watching. If you made it through this whole episode, that means you should be subscribed. There's so many of you out there who watch and don't subscribe, so make sure you are a KFC Radio subscriber. Make sure you get all the content when it drops. Click that button now.
I have 9 fingers. I'm still subscribed. It's that easy.